2022. It's been a minute since we've seen everybody. And, man, look, I'm just happy to be back with all of you.
Absolutely.
You know, it's been crazy. We've been trying to get back together, and, you know, a week turns into 2 weeks, which turns into a month, and here we are. So welcome back to Big Six. We're just going to talk about what's been going on. And with that, Big Six to the board.
Like always, when you start off with Big Six, you might as well get 15. Give me 15, Doc.
Some things don't change.
Yeah, been a year in review, fellas. It's been a year since we've been doing this, so
It's been some kind of year, fellas. Resilient as ever, but we keep bouncing back. You know, I like to look at this year in review. Very simply, it's like the Final Four. You know, you survive in advance, man. That's kind of where I'm at, and that's kind of where I've been all year. It's been a tough year, man, but I'm still hanging, still here. So,
yeah. What keeps you going, bro?
well, obviously, man, you know, my faith. I know that sounds a little cliche-ish, but nothing's cliche-ish about the word. It's the same yesterday, today, and forever. However, that is what keeps me going. I got people depending on me, all the stuff that a real man is supposed to, you know, count on.
But you know what? I mean, I honestly, especially having looked for a job for like a year when I was out of Coke, I think also God appreciates your getting up, putting the effort forward, and you get rewarded for that effort. Versus if you just sit on the side. So, yeah, you got people depending on you too, but I think that's that faith walk where you got to keep.
Faith without works is what?
Yeah. You got to keep it going.
Yes, sir.
Got to keep it going.
You know, we look at a year in review.
Oh.
We look at a year in review, and you know, I think while we was going through it, it seemed insurmountable. You know, that whatever trial or tribulation in the midst of it, and I go back to the old Mark for Death movie, where on the mirror he wrote, "Anticipation of death is worse than death itself." So, you know, if we were able just to reflect upon it, getting ready for a specific situation was hell. But after you come back and you look in retrospect, it wasn't as bad as it was. So that's my learning. And with that, Johnny, give me 10 too.
Pastor, thank you. My gosh.
I know you
God
get as long
almighty.
as it takes you to play.
Good God Almighty.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, you know, I guess for me, you know, it's been the first year being an empty nester.
Oh, what we
Yeah.
doing? Oh, man. Don't do me like
Lauren,
that.
Lauren survived the first year.
He's ugly, Dominic.
We survived the first year. And it was a weird year because she went away to school, came back because of COVID. And then the next thing, you know, we are, you know, trying to figure out, man, it's fun having her back, but we gotta let her go again. And it's that time which is approaching fast, like these dominoes being played on.
Yeah, you playing no defense.
You passed the last time, didn't you?
Yes.
I'm about sick of this. Yeah. Little Johnny, give me 10.
So it went all the way around like that, huh? But
boy,
let me get some.
I need
Threes.
chicken head.
Threes.
Chicken head.
Threes.
Chicken head.
Threes. You got my 15?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he ain't getting on that.
Why you let him out?
Hey.
So, I mean, you know, you stated that, but I think as you look at it, Ronnie, you had that same experience as well, taking your baby all the way down to the bottom.
To the bottom of this boat. Let me get that boat.
Okay, you get that boat.
I'm going to take that boat.
You're going to take
You
the
gonna take
20
that
on it,
boat?
but you took your baby girl all the way to the bottom. She then came back and survived that first year. So share with us how that was, man.
Something you love as much as yourself, more than you love yourself. To be away from you like that really tears at your heart, right? To the point that you got
Give me 10 on the way out and give me everything he took.
10.
First house.
But no, being away and understanding that you gotta, this is a part of the process. It's a growth thing. And not, you know, checking in on her like I normally would nightly when she's at the house, right? Understanding she's 19 now. She's a young adult. And, you know, this ain't my first rodeo, but this is my baby. It's a little different with my knucklehead. You know, he do what he want to. He good. Yeah.
Double standard.
Yeah. Yes,
Quite
sir.
honestly.
All day, every day, and I'm okay with them double standards.
Yeah.
But with her, it was, you know, I'm watching her movements. You know, I know where the car go. You know, I know where her phone go. What's she doing there this time of night? You know, all those type of things. So it was, I had to wean myself off of that to the point of being okay with she's got to grow. You know.
Yeah.
So we've been going through a growth process.
And it's
Both of
hard.
us together.
That's hard though.
Yeah.
You know what? And I feel the same way because, you know, on one hand, it's been nice to see Lauren grow up, you know, because she went away like a little girl,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And she came back. We went to the Essence Festival, and here she is wearing grown girl clothes.
Oh, yeah, I'm
And-
talking about.
and I'm like, you know, we're on the street. I had to tell dude, back up. You know,
That's all you told him?
hey, but you know, it's a different experience when
Yeah.
you see them as women as opposed to your little girl. And then Facebook is killer because
Yeah.
today something popped up with Ryan and Lauren when they were like 7 and 8.
Mm.
And I'm looking at them like, damn, where did the time go?
Yep.
You know?
Let me get y'all interesting because we did last year about we love them girls, right? And we all had the unique experience of having daughters that were
3, please.
that went away to school. Let me get Twinkies. But we had daughters that went away to school.
Heater.
And I mean, I have a unique perspective because my oldest graduated from college. So, you know, while I had one that, you know, entering in, I got one that's coming out. So when you talk about, she a grown woman, you know what I mean? She's a grown woman as you go through. So just to see her growth and development, the maturity, and then to see one behind it, it's been a hell of a year, man.
Mine is, and I said this last year. I wasn't concerned, and I hadn't met half you guys' daughters at the time, right? And I was like, I wasn't concerned because I know their fathers, right? So I know you guys didn't start being dads a year ago. So I wasn't too concerned about the girls.
Jackson's.
Jackson's, what does that mean? You need to explain to the people.
Tito, Randy.
Marlon.
Oh, they Jackson.
Jermaine. Yeah.
How many, bro?
Put Jan in there too if you want to.
25.
Well, if he want a Coda horse, let me get Janet, Latoya, and Raven.
You got 3
Them
pieces.
3s plus 1. That's 20.
Here you go.
Well, since we gone and just naming the Jacksons, I might as well go on and get me a 15 piece.
Wow. You gave me 20, you gave him 15, right?
Yep.
All right.
I need an opportunity to scope in this joint.
Yeah.
Well, you started.
Yeah, so mine did well. Doing very well at UT. 4.0 last semester. Just came back from Cape Town, South Africa. Spent a month there. And I was torn, right? Because I'm in HR and I'm like, man, you got these internships with these energy companies. She's like, Dad, I'm going down here to deal with this economic development in Cape Town. I'll be back. The energy companies will be back. And from what I'm going to gain from this experience, I'll be better for them if I decide to do that. So mine is just total trust. So as long as you can give me an explanation, cool. Live your life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I couldn't be prouder. Not even surprised though, man, because those are the expectations that I have
Oh, sure.
of not only mine, but the whole community, right?
I think it's an interesting, at least for me, to see them y'all had girls go off. I had a son go off, but to gain their independence and not need you as much,
Yeah.
you know. And so, like, you know, they still need you, and you feel good when they do. But there are a lot of things that they can kind of find their way on their own now, you know.
Yes,
You realize, oh man, they growing up.
That's
you
what
know.
you want.
And it is what you want, you know. But it's like you see the 7 and 8 year old pictures, you think,
Yeah, so
you know,
your baby.
right.
Man, you know, something as trivial as going to a party. So we're on one side of town. Lauren says there's a party up by Intercontinental Airport. That's all the way across town.
Yeah, for real.
I'm like, and I'm telling her mother, did you think about, you know, she got to drive across town through downtown.
Still have issues with that. But again, you know, I think one of you guys said it a second ago about the little girl part. That's the part that has not left me yet. Even though I know she's a young woman, 20 years old, body's filled out, you know, and from the time she left my house to now, it seems like it was, eons ago, but it was only 2 years ago. So now she's going into her junior year, right? And
Second house.
the whole conversation is totally different than when she left my house. I mean, totally different. You know what I mean? It's more advanced. It's more grown up, in the way we talk and the things that we talk about. But you said it a second ago, your daughter went away, 4.0, etc. Well, my daughter did the same. The first year, macking. I mean, she's straight macking and relaxing, right? But I told her when she left, you'll have that semester where you don't wonder how you made it in school, or it's gonna be that tough semester. Well, last semester was a tough one. She did fine, but it wasn't 4.0 or 3.85 like the first year, right?
Come on.
So
Talk about that.
now she's having to see it for what it's really worth. Now comes the grind.
Yeah.
Okay. The early part is over. Freshman part, sophomore part is over. So now you're going into your major, you're doing this, you're doing that. She's doing well. But she has to get used to the grind. And that's what we talk about now. What's about to come? Are you prepared for this? Et cetera, et cetera. So she's starting to get there. But again, she was green as an evergreen when she left my home.
Yeah.
And now, man, like I saw Dad's daughter, Lauren, and my daughter together. And I'm like, Dad, I remember when they were little kids, playing with dolls and going on. Now, they're young adults. So it's different.
I saw some pictures, so I'm not a big tech guy, but when we went to Vegas for Zoran's 12th, when she turned 12, and all them pictures we took, all of us together, and we come up one year, what's it called, a FaceTime memory
Collage,
lane, whatever, and all that money I spent on the cake boss.
Oh yeah.
Cake was $300.
Yeah.
And now you look, like you say, you look back now, you're like, wow, what happened?
Yeah.
Where they at now?
Right.
So, the funny thing is, she called me, she talked to me, said, Daddy, she with her mama right now. She said, well, Daddy, I got this trip I'm going on. I said, where you going? She said, well, I'm going back to Florida. I said, oh, okay. Well, good, have a good time. Right? But she was calling in reference to need a little change. Sure. She ain't want no cash. No, they don't need no cash. Just let me use your card. I was like, wow, you done stepped your game up. Right? So when you talk about traveling, they flew into Tampa, drove to Naples, then went over to Miami, and then flew out
Falling out of control.
again to Tampa. This is at 19.
Dude, we were in
This
a
is a
car.
different life,
We were
yeah.
in a Ford LTD. If you had $5
You in there?
Come on.
and you had $5,
Come on.
we were on a road
We
trip.
gone.
Rolling.
With a
we were
40.
on a road trip. So it's totally different now, man. These kids are flying. I mean, it's different times.
Yeah, but we afforded them that opportunity.
Well, we did, and we do, thank God. But the other thing is, it's a different time. And as I stated, double standards. For guys, your parents looked at you as a boy who were out doing boyish things and et cetera, et cetera. I would guarantee your sister didn't have as much leeway as you had. Mine did. And for me, I have all girls. So for me, that's why I say I'm still in that stage, as Dan said, when she goes across town, I'm concerned. Like my wife wakes me up, Ryan's over in East Baton Rouge. I said, what the hell you want me to do? I'm in Houston. She's on this Life 360 thing. I said, what the hell you want me to do? Maybe they're getting something to eat. Maybe they're doing whatever they're doing. I ain't there.
Right.
As long as she don't come and say, Daddy, help me.
Right.
I'm good.
Rob needs 20 to go, by the way.
Who?
Rob.
Don't be surprised. Keep talking, man. Don't worry about that. He can't
20.
hold.
We can argue later, Ron.
You gonna make me cuss?
Go ahead.
Cuss.
Well, give me
Likes.
10, Dan. So
Likes.
let's get this on.
Rob
Give me
needs 10 to
I
go.
need 10 to go. But G, I mean, we talked about it, and I tell you, for me, I think all of us, man, we just look at the year in review, and I'm just so grateful that in the midst of everything that's going on, you know what I mean, still got their nose clean.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Still hanging around the right crowd or whatever, and only by the grace of God that
So
you
far,
know
so
able to do
good,
it.
man.
That Alicia drove from here to Lafayette. And I was just gonna get her through downtown, right? Man, I damn near was in Beaumont before I got off. You know what I mean? Because I was gonna take my baby to school, even though she trailing me. You know what I'm saying? So it's just
It's funny you say that. In 2 weeks when we go back, she's gonna be under the wheel, brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would like to get her through Beaumont though, because of big trucks and all that. But I'm gonna let her
Out of
run.
that.
so. I mean, this is Domino's and Big Six
play.
where
Come
we're
on, play.
talking.
It is.
But there is some, fundamental about the game
coming
of
on.
Domino's that
Like defense.
15
And he out of
in
this
ball
month.
game.
All right.
So let's just wrap it. We done went through it and understand what's going on, but that's how we get on. And just like last year, ain't nothing changed. It's still a new season, but I'm still running the table. Get your tail on up.
It sound like we are.
Y'all get y'all tail on up from the table.
What would you like to talk about, sir?
How 19 children are murdered and 2 adults. And nobody in the police force is held
Cowards.
accountable for what took place.
Howard the Coward, their middle name is Petrified. These police officers, man, when I saw that, the way they were so cowardice in allowing these children to literally be murdered. And I said it,
And they in the hallway.
allowed them
They
to
in the
be-
hallway.
allowed them to be murdered.
Well,
Then
and
all of a sudden, when it seemed like it was over and the shots had been fired, well, they had gotten the alleged shooter or the shooter. Then all of a sudden they want to play Billy Badass and charge down the hallway, and one guy's trying to stop them all, holding them back like in a fight, Well, wait a minute. I'm not saying with a long arm rifle that you can't be afraid. Hey man, listen, I will be afraid. But if that's your job,
Right.
you gotta move forward and go and face danger head on.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
That's where I'm at.
Yes, sir. That when I saw that,
10 pin.
I haven't shed a tear in a moment. I shed a tear
Yeah.
when I saw that, man.
Just the thought of that, man.
it hurt me.
Yeah, it hurts
It hurt
you have children.
Man,
Even if you don't, it's humanity.
my grandson, 2 years old.
I bet.
Can you imagine if something like that happened at his daycare?
Hey man, my Aubrey is in the 4th grade like some of these kids were, man.
Dang.
10 years old. So you talking about reflecting. When 9/11 hit, I'll never forget, I'm backing out of my driveway to go to a national meeting in Las Vegas. And my neighbor hits the back of my car, and it scared me to death because one of my greatest fears is hitting a kid, in the neighborhood, right? So when he did it, he said, you might want to pull back in. I left the car running. We walked in with my door open. As I walk in, the second plane hits the World Trade Center. At this point, I go up to the school. I'm the 3rd car there. Before I could get out to school, it's cars lined up everywhere. So I know that feeling, even though it wasn't a shooting. We didn't know what was going on. Therefore, it's a lot of anxiety going on. You feel what I'm saying? So for me, man, I get it, but man, it's some cowards.
But it's even bigger than that. We can't even pass legislation to protect our children.
That's another story too.
based upon lobbyists
Yeah.
with
but-
big pockets.
Well, it's all turning selfish and everybody's preserving themselves. They could have stood aside at that school. I bet you'd have been some parents who would have rushed in there.
There were,
But they
there were.
I'm just saying, look, let me go. I'll go.
15.
I'll go in there.
Well, I
If it
think if
means
that's your
saving my
job,
kid, yeah.
if that's your
Right.
job as a fireman,
Right.
you cannot not go into a building that's on fire.
Yeah.
As a police officer, you cannot go north when danger is south.
Right.
You cannot. And to sit there for 77 minutes and allow these children, and they're hearing additional shots go off. Each one of those shots is killing somebody. They couldn't even have open caskets for these children because it was so dangerous what had happened to them with an assault rifle. And these idiots want to get on the Second Amendment and all this. Man, no one's trying to take your guns from you. But show me where you need an assault rifle on the streets in America. If you're not a police officer, that's a military killing machine.
Or at least a background check to make sure you mentally
At
safe.
least.
15.
It's
It's sad.
interesting y'all bring that up because, again, we just talking about what we're talking about. We're in the midst of laws about abortion and things of that nature, so we're fighting for life. But when they get here, we don't do nothing to keep them.
Come on now.
So I struggle with that, from the standpoint, we fighting for life. But when they get here, it means nothing.
Or we ain't doing nothing to protect them when
Exactly.
they get here.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
but let me ask you this: do y'all think? And I realize Sandy Hook is out there, but in this time, you think if these had been white kids, that we wouldn't be doing something different.
I don't.
You don't think
I
so?
don't necessarily, because when those things happen at Columbine, at Sandy Hook, nothing's really changed but a lot of lip service, because these idiots who are so worried about someone taking their guns away from them, we're saying, we don't want to take your guns from them. We just don't want those idiots to have guns who don't need to have them.
Yeah, I hear you, but
I don't
it
think
seems
so,
like
John.
seemed like there's some movement this time. At least there was, because it got up to a pitch where they at least started talking about
Till it
it.
got quiet.
I just wondered,
It's dying down. It's dying.
or until another news story hit. I just wonder if it had been a school of white kids that were getting shot, if they would now have kind of crossed the finish line. You know.
Yeah.
Not. I just don't think so.
And you're probably right. You're probably right.
I don't think so. But again, this thing has no teeth to it. Even this so-called compromise that they have on this gun bill, it has no real teeth
really
to
don't.
it, because they don't have things in place to, as Ronnie said, to screen people who shouldn't have.
But you know what? But why are we? Why are we in one of the last countries to wrestle with gun laws? You go to Europe, you can't have.
No, you can't.
There's
You
no
can't.
guns.
You will go to jail.
10.
You got 15, right?
Yes, sir.
And give me that 10.
Shoot, the dude in Japan had to have a homemade gun to pull off his.
The ex-prime minister, yeah.
Pull off his
Yeah.
assassination.
Yeah, I mean,
And they
it
don't
makes
have
no
guns,
sense.
yeah.
You know, and you think about it, they say, oh, you know, Second Amendment, but tempers flare, and I think it's also to a place where we become numb. We have become numb. I mean, you see somebody get shot. There was a video that we circulated, and the lady is in a Dollar General or whatever it was, shoots another person, and the people videoing it act like it was no big deal. It was more like, let me get the batteries.
Well, two things.
Well, that's
The gun lobbyists and the NRA are very powerful in this country, because they prey on those who have fear of what they really don't know. And again, I keep going back to this: no one's trying to take your guns from you, but they go to the ignorant amongst us and play on this thing because of the money that's also involved. And it's power in gun lobbyists and the NRA.
Yeah.
It's a powerful entity.
But my argument is, why do you need a gun? I'm gonna just be real honest, right? Because I know my temperament, right? And I've got guns, but I don't have any desire to carry a gun with me. And we can carry a gun.
So let me ask you a question. Let's flip it this way. Why do you have a gun?
So the two guns that I have,
That ain't what I asked you.
why? Well, you asked me why do I have them?
Yeah.
Because they were my father's.
Okay. All right.
But you don't feel the need to of comfort, for your family to be safe.
Are you licensed? Got your
No, I don't have a license.
I'm
Okay.
licensed to carry, guys. I don't carry with me because of something that happened. I told you about what happened. So I don't carry with me. However, if you come to mine and you threaten bodily harm on me and mine, it's better you than me. It's gonna be you than me. That's just the first law of
But
nature.
hold on, my challenge to that.
First law of nature is self-preservation, Dan. I'm not gonna let my mother hurt me. And I love my mother.
Right.
Ain't gonna hurt her.
But my
Ain't
challenge,
gonna let her get away. I'm just saying.
my challenge is, without that gun, would you have that same mentality?
Absolutely.
Oh God, yeah.
So why do you need the gun then?
So
Dan,
let me
it
ask
really
you.
goes further than a
Let me
knife.
ask you a question.
Yeah, it's faster.
Who does
Listen.
me?
Yeah.
You play what? You say you play golf. Okay.
He kind of cut deep on that
Very
one.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
And you got to have the right tools kit, right?
Right.
For the competition. It's no different out here.
You got that.
Man, when these kids come at you,
And it's dangerous.
they ain't coming with their hands and fists. They ain't like we back in the day.
Attention, Dan.
They if you ain't about it, you best get quickly about it. You got to come ready.
So let me take this back, man. And I struggle so much, man. I put the responsibility. I try to make sure, where did it start at? And I go
before
back.
you.
I go back to though. I go back to us as parents, man.
Bunch
You
of
know,
ass parents.
I go back to that, man, because we all did some devious stuff growing up. Let's put that on out there. We done all did some deviant stuff. But I ain't do no deviant stuff that was talking about life. There was a line that I value. There was something worth living for. I'm going to put my hands on you.
Right, but I'm
Live
not
to
gonna
fight
shoot
another
you.
day, but I'm not going to raise up because I got a gun. If you, me and you get on, you got me today, I'm going to get you tomorrow.